श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार बरनो रघुबर विमल यश जो दायक फल चार सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। I offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of my Sadguru Dev. Nowadays, the main emphasis is on the Nivritti Marg. The speakers say you have to renounce ahankara, you have to renounce your attachment in the worldly materialistic things and relationships, and without renouncing these things you cannot attain God completely. So a common man is obviously discouraged because he thinks that I don't have any gyan. Whatever gyan he has, when he meets more intellectual people, then he feels inferiority complex. He thinks I don't have so much knowledge, so I am not eligible to walk on the path of attainment of God. So at the first step only he feels discouraged. So the question is, the Nivritti Marg is better or the Pravatti Marg is better to attain God? What is the Nivritti Marg? In Nivritti Marg, one has to renounce all his attachments, all his relationships, all the objects of pleasures, and he has to follow a very strict lifestyle, and which requires him to do a lot of sadhana, tapasya, so that all his concentration is towards attaining God. And Pravati Marg, what is the Pravati Marg? In Pravati Marg, the sadhak or the devotee, he has a family, he may be married, and he will do something to earn his livelihood, and with all this he tries to walk on the path of devotion. So the path of Nivritti is better or the path of Pravati is better? Goswami Tulsidas Ji says that it is not the question that which path is better. Instead he says, which path do you feel comfortable walking on? If you feel comfortable walking on the Nivritti Marg, then it is okay. But if you don't feel that Nivritti Marg is suitable for you, then you can be as you are, where you are, whatever you are doing, and you do not have to change yourself. For example, he mentions that there are three kind of people: Vishay, Sadhak and Siddh. Vishay means like all of us who are engrossed in the materialistic pleasures, and Sadhak is one who is doing all satkarmas, all sadhana, tapasya to achieve God or moksha. And Siddh is who has already achieved God. And he also gives examples for each of them. Sugriv is Vishay, Vibhishan is Sadhak, and Shri Bharatji Maharaj is Siddh. In this way, Goswami Tulsidas Ji encourages us that even being a Vishay Vyakti, we can achieve God. And he narrates the story of Sugriv in detail. As we all know, I don't have to go in the deep of the story of Sugriv, but as we know that his brother Bali had snatched his wife, his property, and everything from him, and he wanted to kill Sugriv. And Sugriv was constantly running from him, and in the end, he found shelter at the Rishyamukh Parvat, Rishyamukh mountain, where Bali could not enter as he was cursed by the sages that he cannot enter the premises of Rishyamukh Parvat. So Sugriv was living there. Now, when Sita ji is being kidnapped by Ravan, then Sri Ram and Sri Lakshman are wandering here and there in search of Sita. And in the process, they reach near Rishyamukh Parvat. Now Sugriv sees them and he instructs Hanumanji Maharaj to go and find out if these two was sent by his brother Bali to kill him, because Bali could not enter Rishyamukh Parvat, but he could send anyone to kill Sugriv. So Hanumanji goes there and all the story follows that how Hanumanji meets Sri Ram, Sri Lakshman, and then he carries them on their back and climbs the Rishyamukh Parvat, and Sri Ram accepts Sugriv as his friend. Now Sugriv tells on when Sri Ram questions him that, friend, why are you staying in the forest? So Sugriv tells Sri Ram all the story, that how his brother misunderstood him and how he had to run away and how Bali had snatched everything from him. Now Sri Ram's eyes were full of tears and he promised Sugriv that I will kill that wicked Bali with one arrow. Now we can see that Sugriv was very sad because he lost his wife, his property, his self respect, and he wanted to gain it back. So, when Sri Ram said that I will help you to get all of what you have lost back, then Sugriv took a test of Sri Ram. What was the test? There was a heap of the bones of Dundubi demon. Sugriv asked him to aim the arrow such that the whole heap is carried far away, and there were 7 trees by a pond, and Sugriv asked Sri Ram to aim all the trees with a single arrow. And when Rama did that, what Sugriv had told successfully, then Sugriv was satisfied that Sri Ram will surely kill Bali. Now it's all right up till here, but what happens next is very surprising. Sugriv says to Sri Ram that now my mind has changed, my heart has become purified, and I think that Bali is not my enemy. He is my best well-wisher. Rama asks how. Sugriv says, because of this enmity with Bali, I have met you, and I think that all the worldly objects of pleasures are a hindrance in singing the glories of God in the path of devotion. Rama asks, how do you know that? Sugriv replied, I have heard the sages speaking like this. So, what is the reaction which Sri Ram showed? Because Sugriv is speaking very impressive words. He is talking very high, and whatever he said was 100% correct. That we should leave everything and we should sing the glories of the God. But what was Sri Ram's reaction? Sri Ram started laughing heartily. He did not smile, he started laughing heartily. Why? Because few moments ago Sugriv was so sad because whatever he was suffering, he was so sad, and when he was convinced that Sri Ram will help him, then he suddenly started speaking of Vedanta. And we can clearly see, if we see around ourselves, as we all are very active on social networking sites, we can see that people, it has become their hobby and pastime to quote from Vedantas, Puranas, Shastras, Bhagavad Gita, Ramcharitmanas, very big things which they really don't understand fully, and they have not put into practical in their daily lives whatever they quote. And the same thing is done by Sugriv here. So Sri Ram started laughing heartily. And if you remember, in Bhagavad Gita, the same thing happens between Arjun and Sri Krishna. Arjun says that I will not fight with my blood relatives. It is better to become a beggar and ask for alms instead of fighting with my own blood relatives and become a king and rule the kingdom which is soiled with the blood of my near and dear ones. So, what Sri Krishna said? Sri Krishna said, you are talking like a jnani, like a knowledgeable person, like an intellectual person. So, the key word is like. You are not a jnani, but you are talking like a jnani. And whatever follows next, we all know. So, these two stories or these two incidents are similar to each other, where Sugriv is also friend of God and Arjun is also friend of God, and they both are talking like intellectuals whilst they are really not at that stage. So here Sri Ram says that okay, but because I have promised you, so I will keep my vow to kill Bali. And whatever proceeds later, Bali is killed and Sugriv gets his kingdom, his wife back, and Sugriv's son is not made the prince. Instead, Bali's son Angad is made the prince, the Yuvraj. After all this, Shri Ram says clearly to Sugriv, Sugriv, remember two things. What are they? That you have to rule the kingdom. There's no problem. You enjoy whatever you want to with your wife and all the worldly pleasures, the objects of pleasure which a king has access to. I have no problem. And you, but you, one thing, you have to rule with anger. Don't feel bad that he is the son of Bali. Feel at ease and rule with anger. And the second is, you keep constantly in your mind, in your heart, that you have to find Sita ji. Now, who is Sita ji? She is devotion, she is peace, she is prosperity, and whatever we need in our lives. Someone needs peace, someone needs devotion, someone needs prosperity, whatever we need. Besides doing all the jobs, all the actions to earn money, to earn livelihood, to enjoy relationships, to enjoy worldly pleasures, we should constantly remember that we have to find Sita ji. When after Ravan was killed and all the monkey soldiers were sitting close to Shri Ram and they were about to go back to their homes, Shri Ram said, "Go back to your homes, dear friends. But what you have to do? Bhajahu mohi drid name. You do all the works as a family member that you have to do, as a bread earner you have to do, but now your perception should change about them." And what is that? You have to do all the Kam Kaj, all the actions as Ram Kaj. That is, every action you perform should be surrendered to me. Then every ordinary action becomes Ram Kaj. We are offering our seva, our gratitude to God.